Secure attachment and the authoritative parenting style. Now, I just did a video on the 4 parenting styles, which you can check out here. But I've also done a video on the different attachment styles and attachment theory, which is you can check it out here also. I think it's gonna be over here, top left corner, top right corner for you actually. But so when you look at it, this is going to be another topic that's very near and dear to my heart because of my daughter. I'm always trying to find ways to improve my parenting. I know I can't be perfect, but I realize if I continue doing the things that I think is right from the past and not make the adjustments to the current environment, I'm really doing her a disjustice. And so looking at this, it actually took me a while to kind of how to connect this with attachment theory, which I have always tried to connect to attachment theory, but I think I finally figured out how to do it. There's a lot of literature breaking things down, but it was kind of like there's questionable areas with it, but I think I have a good breakdown of it, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But before we talk about that, let me tell you about my channel. We do relationships, we do parenting, personal growth, and attachment theory. Again, today's more going to be about the parenting and attachment theory, and it may actually kind of lean into some of the relationship perspective too, and personal growth, maybe all of them. But I'm doing this here because it's going to be exciting stuff. But let's go into what attachment theory is and secure attachment specifically, and then we'll go into the parenting style. Now, what is attachment theory? Now, attachment theory has to do with you have a caregiver and you have a child. And this caregiver and child has a unique relationship because that child doesn't really know anything. It's a blank slate. Everything that child learns is basically given from that caregiver. And so they learn how to communicate, how to handle their emotions, how to interact with other people. And they're learning these things from that caregiver. And depending on the parenting style of that caregiver, it can produce 4 different areas. You have a secure individual and you have 3 insecure individuals: dismissive avoidant, anxious preoccupied, and fearful avoidant. There are different ways to actually explain or use different interchangeable names for these, and you can check that up in this video here. They can give more detail with that. But when you have a secure individual, I like to think about it how they view themselves and how they view other people. Secure individuals view themselves very high, but also they view others very high. You have the dismissive avoidant. Dismissive avoidant has a very high view of themselves, but a negative view of other people. Again, that's mostly because a lot of times in neglect, they had to learn how to trust themselves, and the people around them probably weren't there emotionally to really help them go through those situations. Anxious preoccupied really has a negative view of themselves, a positive view of other people. That could be because of helicopter parents, that could be inconsistent parenting, different things from there. Then you have fearful avoidant. They have a negative view of themselves and a negative view of other people. That could be severe neglect, abuse, things like that can actually produce those. So now let's talk about the parenting styles. Now, it took me a while to kind of grasp it, but I saw some things on YouTube and I read a lot of articles really breaking it down, and it usually is broken down into 2 different parts: responsiveness and control. Now, responsiveness is like how responsive was that parent? It doesn't have to be getting every need and everything met, but also being responsive to the kid's questions, or actually maybe the kid has a negotiation that they're trying to, well, maybe if I can't have 2 of these, can I have 1 of these tomorrow? And really being responsive and listening to that child's needs. And also the wants and everything else, and just really addressing them so they feel heard and understood, not just through their physical needs, but also the emotional needs. But then you have control. Now, control can look at it from 2 different ways, like controlling their life, right? So by setting healthy expectations and things of that nature, right? And then, but also you got how much control does that parent have? Do they have no control, so they're erratic and sporadic? Are they bipolar? Things like that. So from the control part, that's 2 perspectives. And so I like to look at this in an X and Y axis, right? If you'll see here, I'm gonna try to do something. Either I'm gonna try to do Canva, but I really wanna try to see if I can do some cool animations through this. So we'll see how good I get by when you look at this video. And so, and it has different quadrants. So I had to pause, I gotta look my left and right because this video is like reflectatory, but looking at the top right, and you look at the top right, that's gonna be the quadrant that's really gonna be the secure and the authoritative, right? So you have the top part was gonna be high control, and low part was gonna be low control. And then you have all the way to the right, you have very responsive, and then to the left, you have least responsive. So if you have somebody who is high responsive and high control, they found a balance in that situation. And anywhere in that part of the graph will actually anywhere in that part of the graph will be a secure attachment. Now, if you go on the opposite side, so you go to the bottom left of the quadrant, then you have somebody who has no control and then also has no responsiveness. Which means that a lot of times that's where abuse happens. And that's where you get to more of a fearful avoidant, or you get as a neglectful or uninvolved parent. And that could be a lot of different ways. If you're not responsive to your kids, if anything's going on, you have no control about what's going on, not just in their structure in their lives, but also control with your emotions. And if you're doing something that's harmful for that kid, you don't care about it because you're responsive to whatever that kid's actually reacting to what you're doing. So that's when you get the fearful. Now, what happens is when you get to that top left and the bottom right corners, and I may have said that wrong, but I'll highlight them or something like that. That's when it gets kind of hairy, because you start to realize what is an anxious attachment style, what is a dismissive avoidant attachment style, and I'll go into more detail with that later. But since we're not going at this point in time, let's focus more on the secure attachment and the authoritative. So there's multiple articles that's really talked about this, and I'm going to try to show you like one here, another one here, another one there. But all these articles really say that their authoritative parent is what really gets correlation with somebody secure. Because if somebody gives structure but also listens, they're going to be able to model those perspectives that a secure person needs, a child needs, to know what to look for down the road. Now, like I said in that graph, you don't have to be all the way responsive and all the way control, but if you're positive in control and positive with that positive side of the responsiveness, then you're going to be within that range, right? What's right, best for the kid, who knows? But within that range is what's considered probably someone who's going to be a secure child. And that's that child's going to grow up and start to really know how to put their boundaries up, know how they're feeling, know how to express how they're feeling, understand what kind of friends they should have and what type of families that they should keep around. They'll understand those things, and it will have the best chance of protecting them, but also helping them find what they need. The problem with the insecure attachment is what happens is everybody has desires and everything else, except for the insecure attachment. They're doing it subconsciously without them realizing they're doing it. A securely attached individual will do it with a conscious mind, with their own decisions, instead of being triggered and automatic playing. And you want to know about the conscious and subconscious? I have another video that's really good about talking about how powerful the subconscious is that can control your conscious. But again, the secure attached individual has more control, so they're more in their conscious mind than their subconscious. So I don't know if you heard that car. I'm sorry, I apologize for that if you did. But now, I mean, I don't go into too much detail with secure attachments. I got plenty of videos. You want to go in more detail, check out my attachment theory playlist and look through secure information. But the really big ones are going to be the other attachments, which we'll talk about in later videos. But let's do the final thoughts. Final thoughts, please like and subscribe. I keep forgetting to do this earlier, but please like and subscribe if you like the information. But I know that what happens, parents say there's no perfect way to raise a child. That's completely true. Undeniably, that is correct, right? And so, but we can always strive to become better parents. And all because of the way our parents taught us doesn't necessarily mean it's correct. And some of the things that they taught us maybe weren't the best for us, but we found coping mechanisms to survive in the world. But that coping mechanism might be causing problems with our child. I mean, I know this may be complicated what I'm talking about, but at the very least, I think a good parent is always someone who's constantly trying to get better, trying to improve themselves. Okay, so please, if you can, check out the secure attachment information and the 4 parenting styles, and then I'm going to go in more detail with the dismissive, anxious, and also the fearful avoidant. Until next time. Oh, before I end this video, as I end all my videos, if you have kids, slow down and tell them that you love them. Tell them that they're worthy because they're born. They're worthy because they're being born, that has made you become a better person. They need to hear it, not just once, but on a consistent basis, and encouraged. So, until next time, I look forward to talking about all the other insecure attachments. But today, love yourself, love your kids. I'll talk to you in the future.